Welcome back to Eden Zero Anime Review, episode number 45. This one's called Kiss and Die. Yep, that's literally the episode, and it's also named one of the chapters after the episode, chapter 124. This episode adapted from chapters 123 to 125. Yes, which means as of this episode, we have 8 more episodes left to go. 8 more chapters, to be adapted. And I'm thinking basically, I'm thinking by the time that, we get to episode 48 of the season, we're probably going to finish this arc up and basically move on to the, there's an arc that comes right after this one, which I'm hoping they do because it takes place like a week after this whole thing wraps up. It's only 5 chapters. I could see this one pretty much finishing the season itself. Yes, I could definitely say that. I mean, with this episode, we have 5 more to go, so yeah, there's a plausible reason for that because apparently there's a big war going to go on in the very next story arc that comes right afterwards. Mostly put, here's this episode. We have Justice basically fighting Shiki for a bit, and Shiki gets severely wounded, and then all of a sudden, Elsie comes out of nowhere. I was going to say Urza because Lily is based on the same character. She comes completely out of nowhere. Oh yeah, by the way, the whole thing of course, Justice thing, apparently his ship is not registered. The fact that he's a legal traveler. I'm like, what kind of, you probably watch, what kind of bullcrap is Justice basically spitting out of his mouth? Basically, the stuff he's saying is utter nonsense. Eden Zero was his ship. He inherited he basically was given the ship. Basically, he inherited it from his grandfather, Ziggy. Though Elsa Crimson basically held on to him and to basically prove his worthiness to have the ship. And that proved to be true. Yes, and yeah, it looks like he doesn't put much of a fight here because Justice basically just almost wastes him. And Elsa comes in, interrupts the fight, saves him, and yeah, and it turns out, it's been hinted of the whole series so far that Elsie and Justice have got a history together. And it reveals that they apparently were childhood friends who apparently Elsie, they kept calling her princess, and it turned out she really was a princess of some other planet, this country that got destroyed, which went overthrow anyways because apparently the country was corrupt. He was going to change it, and she just destroyed the country. And, when they were younger, she's asking him, kiss me. He's like, what? Yeah. They kiss her. And then in the present day, they do make out and they ends up stabbing each other. Rad's like, ooh, that was a good first kiss. Yes. I thought, okay, interesting. Meanwhile, though, on the satellite above this planet, we have it's where Hermit's all captive by Mauler, the guy who tortured her in her in the flashback stuff in her debut story arc. And of course, basically, he's about torture. And of course, he remembers his name Whis because, hey, weren't you the scientific events who turned down fame and fortune because basically you were just something? And you're like, oh, you're the younger version. Yeah, he references the events of the second story arc of the series, where the normal stuff. Yeah, he references that in this episode, which I'm like, okay. Not bad, the fact he referenced that. I mean, it had been a while. The only reason I remember because I did rewatch the dub for the first season. Yeah, I've watched the whole first season dub, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you're curious, though, who voices, now Elsie and Happy are voiced by the same actors who voiced them in Fairy Tail, Colin Clickett-Beer and Telebar, respectively. Mauler, by the way, let's start with Justice here. Justice is voiced by Robert McCallum. Now, you might be thinking, is this the same guy who voiced his counterpart from Fairy Tail? I don't think so. No, I don't think he wasn't. Oh, yeah, he wasn't Fairy Tail. Yeah, he played Jalal. He played Jalal in that one. So, yeah, he's another character they basically brought back. And was he Raidmaster? No, I don't think he was in Raidmaster. Yeah, I don't think he was in Raidmaster, but yeah, he's also the voice of Doflamingo. So, he's another guy they brought back from that series. You'd be like, Shiki, of course, if you're really curious, He's voiced by Sean Chiplink, aka the guy voice of Subaru from ReZero. Ziggy is voiced by John Bentley. Mahler is voiced by John Snyder. You're probably thinking, who the heck is John Snyder? Is he related to some famous people? No, he apparently was a live action actor who transitioned to voice acting. He's apparently been acting since the late 70s. Yeah. Voice acting wise, well, one of the very few, this is actually not the first series he did English dub for. The first one he did English dub for, well, I can tell anyways, was Rurouni Kenshin. The original one. Playing Kenyu Takika. Who is that character, might ask? Why, basically, he would just, I think it was a filler arc. Yeah, he basically, well, he appears for like one episode. Well, actually, he was one of the voice actors, because this series is notorious for having several dubs. Yeah, he was in Cowboy Bebop. The ones I've seen which I've Rurouni Kenshin, he was in Trigun as Cliff Steiner. Let's see. And these are the ones I have watched. He's Mukatov McMahon in ReZero, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind as Pakio, and Jerga from Misfit Demon Academy. Oh yeah, he also reprised the character from his ReZero for the game. Hermit is voiced by Zenity Hakaya. Excuse me for her. Let's see. She was in one episode of One Punch Man. She was Akila Zadok from the 2011 Hunter x Hunter series. She's Plum Rushit from the ReZero series. She's Yuki Tagaya from the first season of Tetsuo Sensu Devil. She was Akado Kuromu, the one who has the dual identity from Welcome to Demon School Irmakun. Yep. She's Reptalia for like one episode of Rise to Hero. She's Mi Hagarth, the little girl from Yashi Princess Half Demon. Siesta from Detectives Already Dead. Renjia from Restaurant in the World, probably from the 6th season of the show. And that's it. Not many. Oh yeah, she's also the Vanitas from the first episode of the series. Yeah. Overall for her, I have seen her aside from the show like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Basically about 7. What about Victory and Creed? Victory is voiced by Joe Hernandez. Creed, and this is the English dub, mind you. Shannon McKean. Hoga. No credit for his English dub actor yet. Witch is voiced by Laura Post. Jin is Jonah Scott. His sister has no credit for dub act yet, probably because they haven't dubbed yet for some reason. Laguna does not have a credit for English dub act yet for him either, which is interesting. So they fight, and of course that, well, then he transforms into, well, his Arsenal form, and because he dare hit Mahler, Mahler gets upset like, you dare stand against me? Well, screw you, I'm gonna turn the robots to get the humans, despite the fact he was human anyways. And the robots start killing humans on the spot. So this is where Becca comes in, has Happy turn to the Happy Guns, shoot some robots. Pino uses EMP. Of course, Rebecca saves the adorable little girl. And meanwhile, though, Shiki himself is basically saved. By the way, Victor and Creed are commanded by the other two members of Ursa's crew. When they fight him for a while, and then all of a sudden, we have this mysterious robot who shows the complete of this short robot with this round head, and his name is Xenolith, Ziggy's mentor. I'm like, that's interesting. That's an interesting way to end the episode. Yeah, great episode. Loved it. Can't wait for the remaining 5 episodes left. Yes, and I think Martian Magic Muscles will end just before this one. Yeah, by the time that wraps up with the 3 mini episodes, I'd say this one will have about 2 left, and this will be done. And I'd say of all the anime I watch right now, I'd say Martian Magic Muscles finish it first. Then this one, I would probably say, but what about, let's say, Machuka Tensei, which airs tomorrow. That one, I think there's about 5 episodes left, so I think that will probably end not long after this one will. I'd say about a week later. Yes, I'd say by the end of this month, or at least maybe by this point next month, I'm probably down to about 3 anime left. And at some point, I'll be down to about, I'd say about October, I'll be down to 2 left. Just case closed. And, well, it depends. Well, I might be adding more stuff in October, but I'd say by the end of September, I'll be down to about 3 anime left. Just basically One Piece, Case Closed, and Bleach. And that's it. Yeah, Sunday would be the first time in probably the longest time, probably the first time ever, that Sunday we have just 1 anime, and that's it. But we'll find out basically when we get to that point. Okay, so that's it for particular review. Next up, I got 2 straight comic corners, and it's on to my last anime before I get back to One Piece, which I may get a chance to watch today. Who knows? Next anime is going to be Case Closed. But next up, 2 straight comic corners. Okay, next video. Bye.